Hi guys, welcome to Kitchen Kilogram. Today I'm sharing yet another successful experiment for leftover bread. Yes, usually it happens that we order bread and it either stays in the fridge or outside for 2 3 days. Probably we forgot about it. But since it's not fresh or have gone bad, we usually don't know what to do with it. Well, for those who really don't like to waste food, this video is definitely going to help you a lot. So just sit back and enjoy and see what I do with the leftover bread. So back in my days, I used to have bread upma where all the leftover bread was crushed and tampered with mustard seeds, curry leaves and onions. But since that is just one way, here is another one and the kids just love it. Here I have taken multigrain bread, which is 3 days old. Probably I forgot about it in the fridge. I have also taken some of the chicken stock, which you can always find it in my refrigerator. We have two grated tomatoes and some about 10 cloves of garlic and two chopped onions. Have also taken about 2 teaspoons of heavy cream. So first things first, we'll break this bread roughly in about 1 inch size. We don't have to use any sort of a knife or anything. We'll just be mashing it partially in the end. There is definitely no better way to do this. Next, we are mixing some of the chicken stock with bread. Not whole of it because we are going to need this stock later for the sauce. So just moisten the bread a bit and keep it aside. You can also use vegetable stock instead. Today, this is the only non-vegetarian item that I'm using in this recipe. But you can be creative with it and add a few more things like olives, sausages. The list just goes on. It surely gives an impression of a pizza in the end, but when you taste it, it is a lot different than a pizza. It's surely, crunchy from the outside, but from the inside, it's nothing like a pizza. So to begin with, I'm preparing a kind of a pizza sauce. Usually I prepare my own sauces, but this one is a very very basic version of it. We are not being very fancy or technical, but yes, it's kind of a pizza sauce, but not entirely. In this, we have added two chopped onions and turned them little bit brown, not golden brown, but little bit brown. You can add a little salt at the stage just to accelerate the cooking time for these onions. And we'll also add half of the chopped garlic once the onions start showing a little color. Remember that we are not using the entire 10 cloves of garlic. We will be adding garlic in two stages. So this one is the first stage. Spreading the onions and garlic over the pan helps in even cooking. At this stage, we can add two grated tomatoes. I also tried by adding the bottled tomato sauce that we get it from the market, but it wasn't tasting great at all. Even the tomato puree was not giving a natural taste to it. So since these tomatoes are without skin, we can give it about 10 minutes to cook before we leave it aside. But before that, we can add dried oregano, parsley and thyme mixture or any other mixed herb that you can get from the market. So if you remember, we saved some of the chopped garlic earlier. This is the second and final stage to use those. Along with some seasoning, here I'm using white pepper, but you can also use black pepper instead. In about 10 minutes, the tomatoes will be cooked and you will know once it's start turning a little brown in color. At this stage, we can add chicken stock and cook it till the flavors are fully incorporated in it. And the whole thing starts having a little thick consistency. The very reason why we mixed chicken stock with bread in the beginning is to acquire the same taste of sauce within the bread. And from the very initial stage, all this time, bread is being soaked in stock flavors. And when we'll mix both of them together, all the herbs, spices, tomatoes, and onions will give it a very unique flavor. And once it starts becoming a little thick, We can add about 2 teaspoons of heavy cream as well. This is totally optional here. We can add bread right at this stage as well. But to give this whole dish a mild color, I'm adding cream, and it also gives some sort of a richness and balances all the flavors inside of it. Because the pan is too hot, I'm turning off the heat once I've added the cream, and once it's mixed properly, we will reheat the pan to a boiling point while continuously stirring it. Really important to stir the pan continuously once we have added the cream, else it might just burn or lose its flavor entirely. So once the cream is cooked, we can add the stock soaked bread and mash it gently to give it a shape of the pan. We don't have to turn it into a paste, else it won't have any sort of a texture, and it would feel that we are having something gooey instead of bread. With the help of a spatula, could be silicon or wooden, just start spreading it evenly like we do in the case of a pan pizza. But remember not to press it hard. Once that is accomplished, after a minute till bread settles in to its new shape, we can add some cheese to it. You can be really creative and add as many toppings as you want. It could be olives, sausages, maybe cottage cheese, paneer, maybe spinach as well, or anything to give it more color. But since I'm making it just to utilize my bread, I'll keep it simple. And to make it a little hot, I'm also adding some chili flake. They taste really great with this. You can add more oregano or those Italian herbs which I used earlier, but I think I added plenty in mine already. Now I have turned off the pan, and as you can see the cheese has already started melting. We are going to broil it for about 7 to 10 minutes in the oven at high heat of 250 degrees Celsius, and let's see what happens to it. At first, the results were really surprising, and there is actually no end to the combinations you can create on your own with these simple steps. The crust has turned beautiful, nice, and brown. It has its own sauce, so there are no preservatives in it. We can have it in breakfast, brunches, or maybe those late night cravings that actually inspired me to cook something like this. It has a lot of healthy ingredients as well. If you don't want to use chicken stock, you can try it with vegetable stock or even herb spiced reduced milk, or maybe salted buttermilk. Yes, it tastes great with buttermilk as well. Add a few more vegetables to create a healthy snack for your friends, maybe kids or your loved ones. It really tastes crispy from the outside, and it has that texture of bread from inside, along with the other Italian spices and herbs that we have used. So it tastes really awesome. So guys, do try this recipe and let me know in the comments what you feel about it. I will be back with my next recipe very soon. Thank you so much for watching my channel Kitchen Kilogram.